My name's Joe. I play drums for Ocean Eater, and I'm at Shindig Studios. This is a set of Pisces Master Sound, or Pisces Signature Sound Edge hi-hats that's been played live a shitload and is all gross and worn and patinaed. Cymbals sound better over time, like high-quality cymbals.
For sure.
So these cymbals only sound like these ones. You can buy another pair. These ones sound better now than when I first started using them. I didn't like them that much. They had to get a layer of dirt to sound good.
What do you like about them now that they're dirty and beat up?
Well, it's not necessarily that they're dirty and beat up. It's more that the sound has gotten more full. Before it was like crisp and harsh and kind of hard on your ears, right? You get like that ear fatigue when you listen to music that's like too high pitched for too long. And now the sound it's still bright, still cuts through, but doesn't have that like crisp, sharp edge on your ears, especially when you play them open. And then closed, they cut through the mix louder than any hi-hats I've ever used. Like when you have them just...
Yeah, it's kind of like when you get a new set of strings, you have to like wear them in to get them to sound better.
Yeah, how like
that edge off.
Right. They feel hard on your strings. They don't have your oils on them, right? They're not used. They haven't acquired your sound as a musician to them yet.
In general, for cymbals, do you like them to get less of that bright edge when they're new? Like as you play them, do you like them all more, or is it just a set of hi-hats?
In general, I like warmer sounding cymbals. I don't like anything that's hard on your ears. I don't like chinas like those Wuhan chinas, right? I don't want it to be hard on your ears. It should be harsh, but it should still be inviting, like a siren telling you to leave. Like
Yeah.
it's hard,
Yeah.
but it tells your brain like this is something that needs to be done, and
sure.
not I want to get away from this sound. Like, yeah, because even like I generally don't like chinas. This alone, not a fan. It's so harsh.
Yeah.
But in the mix, it cuts through. I have it muted only a little bit right now. Sometimes I mute it more in really small venues. But it's basically the only thing on my kit that I will mute. And it's hard to find chinas I like. I like stacking them up with crashes, but then they get too quiet for my band. Or extremely loud, and you lose so much volume when you stack them up. But
And you're playing this game where you kind of have a limitation in what you can play around your snare because it's a Canon,
right.
Volume-wise.
Well, sort of. I definitely switched to playing loud drums for this band because it fits the music, right? It's part of the thing. But my hand is just solid bone mass, all fused together. So my left hand is just always louder than my right. Anytime I do just like a normal drum roll, it'll always be louder than my right. So like, if you tried to quantize one of my snare rolls, the computer just kind of loses its mind. Like, we can try if you want after this, and you can see on the computer how much louder my left is than my right.
Yeah.
Like, it's that noticeable. And so with that in mind, I kind of stopped fighting it and just embraced how loud I am. You know, kind of like Tony Iommi. He did the thing, detuned his guitar, made Black Sabbath, right?
Yeah. We're making Black Sabbath.
Yeah, definitely. So much. I'm inventing genres over here. Yeah, the loud snare genre. This genre is called Protect Your Ears. But yeah, it really is difficult for me to get my left hand even just quiet anymore these days, straight up because there's just so much mass in my hand. So I stopped fighting it, started using heavier sticks, louder drums. They can figure it out, sound guy. That's not my job. I'm here to play drums and shred.
Yeah, I imagine in a lot of smaller venues, you don't even really need to mic up. You can just play loud.
Yeah, I've had many sound guys go, oh, I guess I don't need to mic that. Like, at least 3 of them in town have put a mic on my snare, and then they go, oh, never mind, like over the microphone while I'm sound checking.
Have you had this specific snare for a while, or did you get it in the quest for volume?
No, I've had this snare for a long time. I like this snare a lot. It's very loud. It's really sensitive. But it's a really low pitch compared to a lot of steel snares. Like, it's still, right now it's pitched pretty high. But it can be tuned really low and have just a huge pop across the room. Like, it's percussive like a kick drum where you can feel the air from it. Like, at least that's how it feels to me. Maybe I'm psyching myself out with that one, but it definitely has more of a girth to it than a lot of steel snares. Yeah, I am making a switch to a copper snare here pretty soon. Maybe brass or bronze, but probably copper.
Is that to change the character or just more volume?
Well, kind of both. I'm ready to upgrade. This one has been through and through the road, kind of a lot. I've probably played like easily 200 shows with it, and it's never seen a hard case. Only my soft case in the back of a van. So I'm ready to upgrade and just kind of like move on to a more heavy duty snare, get one that's in a case all the time. And I wanted brass or bronze because it's going to be louder, but knowing that more snare shell mass leads to more volume made me kind of figure out which material was the most dense and will have the most mass. And the most mass-filled material I can get my hands on in my price range is going to be a copper snare.
Sure.
About $700, 14 by 8. Should be loud as fuck. I'm trying to be louder than the loudest rock concert ever recorded.
Just
which
casually.
is 130 decibels.
Do you know what you're at now?
I have no idea.
Yeah. We'll have to figure it out.
Yeah. So, and it's, you got to go, I don't know how far to gauge that to. I want it to be like 130, like over there.
Yeah. Not like measured right on it.
Right.
Yeah,
Like it's got to be 130, like 10 feet away.
Sure.
So,
Yeah,
we'll see.
That's not something I've ever dug into. I think you're pretty alone in that quest.
Right. A lot of people already complain that snares are too loud. And I think what they mean, especially on a local circuit, is that they're tuned poorly.
Yeah.
Mine's very loud, but it sounds good.
Yeah, nobody complains when something is loud and sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, most people don't.
Yeah. Not the people that are there for what they're there for. So.
I imagine you have to hit your snare pretty hard to get as loud as you do. Like you're leaning into that. Does that inform your head choice?
I definitely don't hesitate to hit my snare hard. I think how hard you hit your drums 100% influences the sound. What size sticks you're using influences the sound. When metal bands have a drummer that's playing little 7A baby drumsticks, like that might be fine in the studio. It looks cool on the internet. It does not translate live. Like you're in a room full of people. They need to hear your instrument. Like drums are probably the oldest instrument. Percussion, like how long do you think mankind's been slapping stuff and dancing around fires?
Yeah.
Like forever. So like I kind of like ingrained that in my brain, and now when I think of it, when I perform live in a room full of people, I'm like, I am the percussive element that's telling everyone to move in this rhythm, right? And I just like ingrained that in the back of my brain. So I switched to bigger sticks. On my toms, I started using the really thick 2-ply hydraulic heads, which I didn't use for a long time. And on my snare, I use the thinnest 1-ply head I can get my hands on and don't mute it at all. And yeah, my kick drum, I have something. I like this kick drum because it cuts through the mix. It sounds really good, and it on the other side of it, it feels good. I don't like how it sounds on my side.
Sure.
You want to hear it from this side?
Yeah.
It sounds totally different than when you stand over there, does it not?
It blows most of the icky resonance back towards you. So if you were to tune this back here, I imagine it'd flip it. It'd like shoot out the yuck, because on the other side of it, it's right where it needs to be. It's not as low as a lot of heavy drums, but you feel it, which is a cool element.
Right, and if you listen to like even a lot of popular music, the kick is in a higher pitch range than you think, so that it cuts through. It's not an 808. People try to tune their kick drum like an 808, and it's not. It's a kick drum, you know?
Yeah.
Like
that you're riding on top of the bass instead of like trying to overwhelm it.
Yeah, like bass is the instrument or bass is like the pitch range?
Like the instrument. Well, kind of both. Like there's an over-under approach to low-end instruments.
Yeah.
And you're like taking the higher approach.
Yes, for sure. Always, I'm definitely going higher than our bass. Yeah. I'm actually trying to figure out how to detune a bass so that I can play the bass 6 and a bass and have a band that's in full octave low E. And the drums will definitely have to be in between those two pitches for sure.
It'll be a sweet spot.
Right.
Yeah.
So like my kick drum will be tuned to barely lower than my floor tom. Yeah. Sometimes I kind of feel like my floor tom's a little lower, honestly.
Yeah.
But it does what it needs to do. It doesn't need to be low. It needs to go and tell you when to move. It needs to tell you when that one is.
Yeah.
Like that's what it's there for.
You can definitely, and I think it's the kind of thing that's hard to translate to like recording at home, but in the room you don't miss the kick. You know, it's in you wherever you're at,
right.
Which is kind of a cool thing. I think people would be surprised at your tom choice, like whose like toms they were. Do you want to talk about those?
These came from a John Bonham tribute kit. I'm not a John Bonham or Led Zeppelin fan, But I do like big, loud-ass drums, and he played a lot of them. I have a bunch of the cymbals that are modeled after his, too. Some Pisces Giant beats. Oh, they're good.
I think people forget how, like, loud you had to play back then.
Right. Like, he's a perfect example of control. Like, as much as I'm not a huge John Bonham fan, live, if you want to talk about a drummer who read the room and looked around him, that's not Buddy Rich. John Bonham's your number 2 guy.
Sure. Yeah, I was surprised when you said that when we were talking about it. It's like, that's not where I would have guessed to look, but in what you get, it makes perfect sense.
Right, and like with how I play them too, when I do a lot of like duka-pack, like they sound great for that.
Yeah.
Same thing with like, so if you watch, like Buddy Rich is my go-to for favorite drummers of all time by a landslide. And I started watching his stuff, you know, maybe 5-6 years ago. And I watch his live footage, especially like live at the North Sea Festival in 1976. I've watched that live session easily 100 times. He controls his entire band from behind a drum kit. He's like communicating with them, not controls. He communicates with his whole band and keeps them all together and synced up, even though there's like 40 people on the fucking stage. It's a big band.
Yeah.
There's a lot of dudes. It's so many. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And in that footage, he fucking hates his saxophone solos that he wrote into his songs. Yeah, there's 2 of them, and during the first one, he smokes 3 cigarettes. The second one, he smokes like 6. He rolls his eyes so hard they practically roll out of his fucking head during the saxophone solo. Yeah, it's pretty good. Buddy Rich is like the greatest drummer of all time. And not because of what he's playing on drums, I think, because of what he did live to his band and to the music. And then that just influenced all the jazz around him. And if you ask me what a drummer should be doing on stage, it's exactly what Buddy Rich is doing. Looking around, mean mugging everyone, keeping time with his band and making sure they're all in time with each other, and smoking cigarettes. Just kidding. Smoking's gross. He does smoke an obscene amount of cigarettes on stage, though. It's a lot. Kind of makes me always want one. I'm like, ugh, gross.
Yeah.
That's the only part I don't like about him.
I think that's pretty much it. Is there anything I might have overlooked or that you think people should know about your approach or your kit?
Well, I switched to bigger sticks to be louder. The sticks that say metal on them, still made of wood. And you can imagine my disappointment when I picked up the rock sticks, also made of wood. I stopped using crashes because I kept breaking them, so I only used 3 rides. I got a Pisces prototype 20-inch ride, and then a Zildjian A ping ride for my crashes, and then a Meinl Classics Extreme Big Bell ride for my other 3rd ride, I guess. That I crash sometimes also. I wish we had a song where I did that. I have a part now in 2 songs where I do a rim shot and hit this as loud as I can. Okay. I specifically hit it with like the taper of my stick and almost my hand. I try to hit it like that.
The bell and the edge.
Right, and it it's hard to kind of recreate unless I'm actually hitting it as hard as I can.
Yeah.
But it makes a really, really god-awful sound you can't avoid.
Very
it's out to get you.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. Have fun. Spin kick towards the middle.